What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crowded Lake, and today we'll be continuing our song, A Sanderside's Fanfic by ineedofsleep. If you'd like to check out the book or the author for yourself, you can look at the links in the description below. I really encourage it. They're very talented. But today we'll be starting at Chapter 23, Hangout, Roman's Point of View. I was walking to school with a friend today, Rima said, grabbing a box of Cheez-Its. You have friends? I joked. Of course I do. I'm the favorite of the two of us. I threw a pillow at him. Thanks, I might fall asleep in class. He shoved it in his backpack. You need a blanket too, sleeping rat face? I asked him. Oh, yes, please. Fuck you. Well, that's incest. Just go. He smiled and threw a Cheez-It at me before heading out the door. I sighed and continued scrolling through my phone, waiting for Dad to drive me. Later on, I arrived at school, but Remus was already there, talking to Demetris. I looked around to see Remy shouting at the crowd of people with Virgil on the sidelines. Emil was watching what was going on, and Talon had a few other people in the back. Thomas was talking to some people from my theater class, and June was sitting at the table typing something on a laptop. I played Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo to determine who I would talk to before school and started, and looks like I'm talking with Emil. I should have rigged it. I walk over to Em and Talon and tap both of them on their shoulders. Greetings, non-binary lord. And regular person? Hi, I don't know. What's going on? Remy shouting about the bet thing with you and Virgil. I turned towards Remy shouting and started listening. Damn, it's starting to sound like my life is a video game. Damn, it's like Jerry and Michael defeating the Squip. On a date, if they both back down, then the losers, and I'm going to lock them in a room. He shouted. People started nodding and agreeing. Then the bell rang. Time skip. Blah, 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 math stuff, blah, blah, blah. I never really paid attention, so I don't know what the teacher's gonna say or is saying. The math teacher talked about what we were learning about. I got bored and started doodling on my note sheet. The bell rang and I looked at the finished sketch, not expecting much. It was a drawing of a dragon witch. I smiled and put my things in my backpack, running out to see everybody already left. I caught up with Remy in the hallway while walking to the theater. He looked at me and smirked. What is he planning? Hey, Roman, he simply said. You leading improv today? Yeah, I think we're just going to do a simple scenario. He nodded and walked into the theater. What kind of scenario, babes? Gotta be more specific so I know what I'm going into. I'm gonna talk to Tech and tell him to pair you and Emil up for a soulmate scenario. His whole face turned red and I laughed. Attention everyone. Today we'll be preparing for the scenario play. Sorry, I was listening to Roman. Senior play. Miss Reynolds, our class, will be joining us, and they will help make backdrops. The teacher, Mr. Kip, announced. Sweet, V and D are gonna join us, Remy said while leaning back in his chair. Too bad Remus isn't joining. I totally could have set them up. Wait, Virgil's coming? He laughed and took a sip of his coffee he probably got from one of his servants. I still don't understand how he's become the king of the school in less than a month. As if on cue, Miss Reynolds walked through the door of the theater and was followed by about 15 students. Our teachers explained what we were doing and sent us off to work in groups. We grabbed a meal and walked over to where Dr. Gloom and Half-Face were working. Wow, we got 2 couples here. You guys are making me feel single, Demetra said when we all sat in a circle. I felt my face heat up, and I looked at Virgil, who just smacked himself. Idiot, you have a soulmate, Remy said and smacked Dee upside the head. I never really thought about Dee's soulmate. I guess I just imagined him with my brother. Then again, Remus has his own soulmate. Yo! Romeo done snap out of it. I shook my head and focused on the group in front of me. So, what are we doing? Well, the seniors are doing the story of Rapunzel, Brothers Grimm version. So, we're gonna paint the bricks of the tower. Okay, let's get started then, I said and grabbed some paint. We painted for a while with the occasional talking, and soon it was time to go. You guys wanna go get Remus and hang out? Emile asked as we were walking out of school. Oh, sure, Virgil answered after a minute. Remy shrugged and Dee gave a thumbs up while going through something on his phone and walking to call somebody, I'm guessing. I'll get him, I said and started walking towards the football field. The others nodded and went to sit at a random table. I walked to see the band packing up their instruments. I waved Remus over. He put up a finger telling me to wait a moment. He put away his drum and backflipped over the bleachers. So extra. What's up, gay? He asked. We're hanging out with Emile, Virgil, Remy, and Demetrist. Therapist, emo, sass, and hottie. Got it. Did you tell dads? Nah, still gonna text them. I pulled out my phone. You text Padre, I'll text Papa. He nodded and pulled out his own phone. Disney, son. Hey, Dad, we're gonna hang out with some friend today. No, Dad. It's going to not gonna. That's fine, as long as you told your dad. Will you be out or at home? Disney, son. Ask them if they want to come over. Love you, Dad. Nerd, Dad. I'll be home by the time dinner is done. I love you too, Roman. I put my phone back in my pocket as we got back into the small group. You guys want to hang at our house? I asked. Oh, sure. I don't care. Yes, you guys have Disney Plus. Oh, I'm fine with that. I smiled, and we all started making our way to the fortress of Prince and Duke. Later on, we arrived at the house and were immediately filled with the smell of cookies. Dad must not have had work at the cafe tonight. Take off your fucking shoes. We have a nice carpet, Remus said before muttering, and a dad that's strict on taking off shoes. I laughed and slid off my shoes. Roman, Remus, that you? Dad called from most likely the kitchen. Yeah, we brought some Homo sapiens with us, Remus yelled back. / homosexuals, Dee said from behind us. We all walked down into the living room and sat down on the couches. We talked a few minutes before Dad came out with a plate of cookies. We introduced everyone and started looking through Disney, eventually settling on Finding Nemo. You know, there are theories that Nemo died along with his siblings and Mom, and Marlin just imagined him due to shock, and the whole journey he did across the ocean was him, but not being able to deal with it anymore and going through the afterlife, Virgil said as we got to the scene when they met the sharks. That's absurd! This movie is a classic about a father doing anything over his son. Up has similar theories, he then said, about going through the afterlife. We all settled into silence, but I couldn't stop thinking about how absurd it is to think about Disney movies like that. So dark. After a while, Dad came in and paused our movie. Will all of you be staying for dinner? We're having tater tot casserole. I'll have to call my mama, but I'm sure it'll be fine, Emile answered. Remy and Virgil seemed to look over at Dee before he answered. We could stay. Yay, I'm gonna start cooking now. Enjoy your movie, everyone. I smiled and pressed play to continue the whale scene. A little bit later, Dad called out. Dinner's done. Everybody stopped the conversation we were having about our favorite Disney movies and walked out to the dining room. We pulled out a few more chairs from the closet and sat down. Father should be here soon. How was school, everybody? Dad asked. Remy was yelling at everyone this morning again, Emile answered, warning a few laughs and a confused face from Dad. I don't think my band teacher liked the idea of me playing drums, Remus shrugged. She kept on telling me to stop and asked me if I wanted another instrument. You're really good at trombone. Why not try that? Dad suggested. Yeah, really good, I said sarcastically, thinking back to many memories I had of him waking me up with that thing. Anyways, we're having to work on backgrounds for the senior play with the art class. Wow, he actually paid attention. Virgil finally spoke up. I pay attention to some things. Calm down, Mr. Extra. You might mess up your hair. Maybe I'll calm down if you stop talking about Disney as if it has a double meaning. They're cute movies. Oh, calm down, boys, Dad said, putting his hands up. I'm home. What are we having for dinner? A voice came from down the hall. Remy, Virgil, and Dee looked up as Father walked into the dining room. Ah, you must be the twins' friends. Panna told me you would be joining us for dinner. The three awkwardly waved and nodded. Hey, Papa, we're having tortured potatoes on meat, Remus said. Oh, hi, Mr. Kingsley, Emile said before turning back to his food. Father nodded and sat down, grabbing a plate. Anyway, how was your day, Demetrius? Dad said, turning to focus back on what we were talking about before Father showed up. Just D is fine, and it was okay. He sounded unsure, as if he never had been asked how his day was. It's hard keeping track of these two, though. Oh, are you three siblings? Father asked. We all act like it. No, it's just me and Virg. D is our cousin, Remy answered. He's staying with us for a little while. If you don't mind me asking, what are your pronouns? Father asked. D seemed to flinch for a second before taking a bite of his food. He, him for all of us, Virgil answered. Our dads nodded before Father seemed to scan everyone. Excuse me, can you please take off your sunglasses and beanie? Sorry if I sound a little harsh. Remy shrugged and took off his sunglasses, revealing piercing silver eyes. He stuck them on the collar of his shirt. Everybody looked to D. He seemed to hesitate before taking off his beanie in an odd way. He placed it on his lap, covering it from everyone else. Later on, Virgil spoke up. I just realized something, Virgil said as he put on his shoes. Yeah, babes? Remy asked, standing at the door, one arm around Emile. Are they dating yet? Our house is just around the block. The other two seemed to nod before Virgil stood up and walked to the door. Later, gators, Remus said before walking upstairs to our room, and I soon followed. Chapter 24. Hangout. Virgil's point of view. That was fun. Is that the right word? Ugh, I don't know. It was nice to hang out, I guess. I'm still thinking about Roman and Remus's dads being the guy that was making puns at the cafe and a fucking scientist. Damn. Wish Father were as cool as them. Wait. Father's a crime boss. Wonder what he's doing right now. Hey, Father, I said into the phone. Virgil, is something wrong? No, I just wondering how you're doing. He was silent for a minute before talking. I'm fine. How are you? How the hell do I respond to that? Mentally, I'm meh. Physically, I'm alright. Emotionally, I'm unstable. Do I tell him about my soulmate? Just a little tired. I made friends at school. Do they want money? Protection? To call the police? Have you been carrying your pocket knife? It's okay, Father. They're strange. I mean different. It's not like I'm going to invite them to the house anytime soon. Okay, I have to go. Okay, later, Dad. I hurried and hung up. I relaxed on my bed and closed my eyes. I started humming a song. Not my soulmate song. Another song that means way more. But of course, that had to be ruined. Someone knocked on my door. What? You need your pills, dumbass. Dee's voice came from the other side before he opened it and sat on my bed. What are you doing? Nothing. I sighed. Aren't you supposed to take the thing off now or whatever? What thing? He asked while pulling out the pills. He handed them to me before thinking for a minute. Oh yeah, I hate this. I would assume so. I said, then swallowed the pills and took a drink from a water bottle by my bed. Okay, get out of my room. Good night, Raccoon. Good night, Happy. The next day I woke up from my phone ringing. Who the hell's calling me at 2:38 in the goddamn morning? I picked up the phone and sighed when I saw the contact. What's up, Remus? Is it bad to like two people? Follow-up question, is it bad to not even know who one of those people are? Well, technically, you only like one person, I thought. You walking with us tomorrow again? I asked. Yeah, might bring Roman, though. Dad's gotta get to work early, and Papa has his weird scientist shit. You owe me a Pop-Tart, then. I'm fine with that, Nemo. I gotta get back to my house. Later, Trashy. Later, Perp Man. I sighed and put my phone back on the table. I'm not getting sleep tonight. I grabbed my phone and scrolled through some old videos. I grabbed my earbuds and plugged them in before clicking a video and setting my phone down. But whenever I try to relax, someone just has to interrupt. V, was that you? A sleepy Remy asked while walking to the room. Get back to sleep, Rem. Ha! REM sleep. And no thanks, babes. You're awake and woke me up, so I ain't doing shit until you do shit, he said, flopping on my bed. What you watchin'? He's still next to me and pulled an earbud out of my ear. We listened to a song and fell asleep. I guess I did get sleep. That morning we finished our breakfast and walked out with Remy, and I was not saying anything. We walked to the same place we met with Remus yesterday. Is Remus walking with us again? He asked. I nodded, but didn't say anything. A minute passed before he groaned and spoke again. Why aren't you guys talking? Why? Would you rather have us teasing you about your crush on Remus? Remy smirked. And how much you love him, I said, throwing an arm around his shoulders. He moved his hands again. Damn, I really need to learn sign language. Babes, if you're going to say something mean, actually say it. Fine. Then he went on about something in Spanish. All I was able to get was the name Emil. I hate you, I said. What's up, homos? Remus said, joining us. Roman not far behind him. I held out my hand for my Pop-Tart. He looked at me confused for a second before realizing what I was waiting for. He grabbed a box of Pop-Tarts out of his bags and handed me one. What? I didn't know we bought more. Give me one. Roman reached out for the one, but Remus held him back with one hand and threw the box at Remy. They continued to fight while Remy examined the box. We got to school, and the two finally stopped fighting. Why won't she stop with the time skips? I can't believe this shit, Remy groaned, sitting by a tree. I looked at my sandwich he brought me from the cafeteria before taking a bite out of it. Just not going to question that. What are we going to do today? Dee asked from where he was in the grass. I don't know. Kind of want to stay in my bed all day. I have an idea, Remus smiled. You're not setting something on fire. I no longer have an idea. We could practice for the singing competition thingy, Dee suggested. Since somebody signed us up. I already know what song I'm doing, Remy said. Oh, good for you. The rest of us don't, idiot. Roman isn't coming up with anything good. I was just planning on singing the cuss word song, Remus said. You do realize children are going to be there, right? And? You can't sing stuff like that, dipshit. Boo. Guess I'll go with my next option. And what is that? Dee started to ask before the bell cut him off. Never mind. Tell you what, I'll come to your house later and we could talk about it there, he said as we walked back to the school. All right, babes, just don't bring any goldfish and condoms. Won't promise anything. Anyway, let's let the author do her last time skip so she can avoid doing her schoolwork. He paused for a moment before pointing somewhere and shouting, No you don't, bitch. I'm one of your favorite characters. What the hell are you talking to? Like pre-mentioned, time skip. You know, yesterday I was telling Father that nobody was coming to the house, I said, looking over at all the chaos. Remy and Remus were arguing about what Melanie Martinez's song was the best. Dee was shouting at them in different languages. Olive and Willow were here, and Olive was trying to show Willow be more chill over all the shouting. Emil and Roman were listening to Disney songs on the floor, and Thomas and Joan were apparently writing their own song about a Disney prince. I sighed and walked over to where Remy and Remus were. Both of you, shut the hell up. You're allowed to have your opinions, and if you keep this up, I pointed at Remy, you're getting your speakers taken away, I pointed to Remus, and I'm not letting you know what. They both looked at me before going to sit on different sides of the couch. Dee thanked me before going to sit on the chair. I grabbed a random pair of earbuds and handed them to Olive, who gladly plugged them into her phone and handed an earbud to Willow. I turned down whatever song Emil and Roman were listening to before laying face down on stage floor. Life is so hard. Roman, song ideas for the thing? I asked, pointing in the general direction of where they were sitting. They're just a bunch of Disney and musicals, he said, sounding a bit nervous. I don't fucking care, just name them off. Hey babes, you, me, and Dee are gonna do Sincerely Me. That's not a question, by the way, Remy shouted out of nowhere. Sure, Rem, whatever. Anyway, start listing those songs off, Roman. Showtime from A Picture Perfect Hollywood Heartbreak. Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King. A Guy That I Can't Be Into. Two-Player Game. Already singing that one, Willow said from across the room. I thought you wanted to do our song. You said you wanted to do this one. To continue the conversation, I signaled from Roman to keep listing the songs. Only else, or if I could tell her from Dear Evan Hansen or any JD and Veronica song. Wow, great job. He looked surprised for a second and smiled. For listening exactly the stuff I won't be singing. His smile dropped. But you're singing Sincerely Me with Remy and Dee, he stated, because Remy is my brother and Dee is like one of the only people. I can't talk. Oh my god, Roman, you're annoying. Even if I've only known him for like 2 weeks. Still. I mumbled the last part. What was that? Nothing. What I'm saying is, they're my family, and you're someone I'm trying to beat in a bet. Anyway, I stood up and got everyone's attention. As much as I love having all these people at my house, I don't like having any people at my house. It's almost dinner time, and Dee will probably just give us Lunchables, which we sadly don't have enough for everyone. So, bye-bye. It took all the energy not to stab someone for this past half hour, and I couldn't take it. Everyone got the hint and started going towards the door. As soon as everyone left, I groaned and walked to my room. I'm going to sleep. No, you're not, someone yelled. You're going to scroll through Tumblr and Reddit. I know, I just don't want to deal with face-to-face socializing right now. Hope you die. Hope you find a better song for us to sing than Sincerely Me. That is offensive. Chapter 25, Talks and Fights. Roman's point of view. I sat down at the lunch table and looked at the cardboard they call pizza. What the heck even is this? I'm not eating this, I said, pushing it away from me. I'll give you my applesauce for your pizza, Joan bargained. Deal. What the heck, 5,001 peck? Did I just change cardboard for one applesauce? I'm 15. I should have traded it for 2. I looked to where Virgil, Demetrius, Remy, and my twin were sitting under a tree. I started thinking about the singing competition thing and what we were going to sing. Roman? I blinked and looked to see who was calling my name. Think Avatar. Joan was saying you died. What are you thinking about? Emil asked. Oh, just the singing competition. Trying to think of a song Virgil would sing with me. Life is fun. Someone you like. I can see it. My dead gay son. Anything by My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Eminences, stuff like that. Joan said, naming off a few songs and emo bands. Oh, you could sing a song from Steven Universe! I'll think about it, but for now it's time to get to class. Right as I said that, the bell rang. Later on, I looked over what we agreed to finish today and leaned on the nearest person. He just so happened to be Virgil. Get off me, he said simply. I sighed, but didn't move anywhere. He tried moving his shoulder a bit, but I still wouldn't move. I will stab you. 1, there are witnesses around. 2, although you probably do have a knife on you, you can't take it out due to the said witnesses. And 3, you wouldn't dare kill your soulmate, I said. I would say fuck you, but you're somehow related to Remus, and I don't want to know what your response is, and I'm not afraid to have a dead soulmate. Get a room, Remy shouted from where he was leaning on a wall. Says the boy I fucking up Emil, Dee said without missing a beat. You better be lucky we're in public, or else you'd be dead by now. What's I fucking? Emil asked. The 3 looked at an innocent person that doesn't need this. What? Baby, you're too precious for this world, Remy said, not bothering to expand on the topic further. Anyways, Roman was talking about what song you 2 were gonna sing at that thing earlier. By the way, Roman, a lot of people think you're gonna get out and get out. I really don't care what happens since I'm taking half the money anyway, and as long as Virg doesn't do something he'd regret, I'm cool with anything. What do you mean, something he'd regret? I asked. Nothing. Both Remy and Virgil answered at the same time. Jinx, double jinx, triple jinx, quadruple jinx, blackout, darn it, tard. I still don't understand siblings, Emil muttered. At least you don't live with them. Anyways, Roman and I stopped leaning on Virgil before he actually pulls a knife out on you. I nodded and moved over to lean on Emil. Now, Remy will threaten to do something. Well, it's not like I can lean on you. Remus will somehow find out, and he'll threaten to do something, I complained. His face turned red, and I realized what I had said Haha, ship it. Ooh, is Mr. I keep a snake on me at all times to seem tough blushing? Remy teased. Snake? Like the guy from the show about the different aspects of someone's personality? No, an actual snake, Remy said, stuttering over to where Dee was sitting and pulling off the beanie to reveal a small greenish-yellow snake curled up and sitting in the mess of brown hair. Is this why he took off his beanie so weird at my house? The snake lifted its head and seemed to look around for minutes. Dee grabbed it from his head and slid it into his pocket. Remy threw his beanie onto his head and walked over to lay in Emil's lap. Are you guys dating yet? I asked, trying to change the topic away from the danger noodle. Remy turned to look at me, probably glaring at me, but not being noticeable under his sunglasses, while Emil just blushed. No, we're not dating, Roman. Emil stuttered a bit. Remy held up his middle finger while getting up and walked to the door. He leaned against the door frame and pulled out his phone. I turned my attention back to Emil. Apparently, so did the other two, because he sat there and was just a blushing mess. As much as I hate Remy, this is too damn cute. He even asked you on a date yet? When's the wedding? Dee started asking. Remy already had pictures and stuff of weddings, so I think he's planning it already. Well, I have a niece, nephew, non-binary equivalent to that. My best friend has a boyfriend. It's cute. Will I be a godparent? Shut up. Remy's not my boyfriend. He's just a friend. Nothing will change that. Emil crossed his arms and seemed to be trying to convince himself more than us. Not even if you were soulmates? Dee asked. Do you know anything about soulmates? You can't just get a new soulmate. That's never heard of, Emil explained. Never paid attention once in soulmate class, and if nobody's ever done it before, then you guys can be the first ones. Both of your old soulmates are dead, right? D, Virgil said. I'm sure there's some way for you two to become soulmates. He obviously meant to be whether the universe sees it or not. D! Virgil tried saying it again. Forget the other two, whoever they are, and have each other. Love is weird and the universe can't control everything. Demetrius Dalian, stop talking or I will... Okay, sorry, touchy subject. I grumbled. Everyone fell back into silence. Then the bell rang. I was looking through Instagram when Remus texted me. I looked to his bed to see him right there. Where the hell is he texting me if he's right here? What's Emil's number? Why? What's his number? Numbers. Okay, thanks. I looked over to see him smiling while looking between his laptop and phone. He looked up at me and waved. I sent a small wave back and shook my head. He's up to something, but it's probably weird, and I don't want to be a part of it. I've arrived home, Father's voice came from downstairs. Boys? Remus shut his laptop and grabbed the toy mace Dad given them a few days ago after making us promise we wouldn't fight that early in the morning again. I sighed, what knowing was going to come. I held up my camera and followed Remus downstairs. Remus lifted his weapon to hit Father, but it quickly deflected by Father holding up a book to block it. Remus, you really must work on your stealth. I heard both of you walking downstairs, and with the toy's added weight, it became obvious you were going to try to attack. Yeah, any explosions at the lab today? Any portals leading to medieval ages with dragons and royal rescue? Did someone die? Boys, nothing of the sort happened, but I did hear a little thing about an upcoming field trip and a famous scientist coming to visit. No? Ooh, now, where is your dad? Something cafe, Remus said before falling back onto the couch. Father nodded before moving my twin so that he was sitting upright. We spent the next hour looking at Disney nature movies and some weird paper Father had. Later on, I woke up to the window opening. A figure crawled through the window and into the room. It moved over to Remus's bed and fell face first onto it. He grumbled it before flipping on its back and sighing. "What are you doing?" I asked him. "Holy fuck, I'm in love," he sighed. Soulmate or slut doing some kinky shit in the alley? Ew, what kind of kinky shit? I'm going to guess it was the soulmate thing then. You going to tell me about them yet? I asked, now sitting up. Or we'll have to fight the answers out of you. He started pulling the mace out from under his bed, so I grabbed my sword, leaning between mine and the bedside table. Esto significa guerrero cuento hermano, I said, preparing my stance. Esta es una batalla que no puedes ganar. He growled, getting ready to charge. We both ran forward, and he tried to attack. I quickly blocked it and slid my feet under his to trap him. He landed on his back, and I held the sword in front of him. ¿Qué es toda esta comienza? It is only 6:03 in the morning, Father yelled, coming into our room and turning on the light. Dad soon followed, sleepily grabbing our weapons. Kiddos, you don't need to be fighting at this time. Go back to sleep. You have school in the morning. We both begrudgingly did as they said and crawled back into bed. They both left, and I looked to Remus. Tell me when we wake up? Sure thing. Thank you so much for listening today. Sorry, this is a shorter one, but it is currently 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday. And frankly, I don't want to do this anymore. Whoops. So if you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe for more. I am on the road to 1K subscribers, and I'm really excited for that. If you go into the description, you'll find all my social medias, along with Wattpad, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, things like that. Discord. We have a Discord server. Please join. There's also a link to go to my second channel where I post Wattpad relouds. Oh my gosh, walking to school help me's. I go live, all of that fun jazz. And there's a link to recommend Wattpad read aloud books. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and, like always, do your best.